Hey, Bernie Bloom here. My latest AMA here. And this is a surprise AMA. So um, I revealed the launch offer yesterday. So we had a series of 3 videos explaining what Xandeum is all about, what is the opportunity, showing you that we're going to change the blockchain world forever and we're enabling real Web3 by adding that badly missing storage layer. And then in the second video, I told you about the transformation that it can mean for you being, in there really early, being able to run a validator really early, being able to earn those Zan tokens before they're being listed, like 4 to 5 months before they're being listed, and all these type of things. And then in the third video, which was a little bit on the long side, I explained the actual launch offer to you guys. So yeah, and I thought today is Sunday. It's the regular time for publishing videos, so we had a few videos out of the ordinary. We're going to have a big press release. It's going to show up on Tuesday morning, Pacific time, Tuesday evening, European time. It will be in the English-speaking press. So press obviously is online press and crypto world. But there will also be a German version in the German press. And yeah, super excited about all that. And yeah, let's see if I can answer your questions. All right, so there's a few guys here. Let me get my chat window to the other screen here. All right. Hello, everyone. Nice being here. Hey, everyone. I see a few names that I know, a few other ones. Hi, Zand lovers. That's a great one, Michael. And by the way, this one reads not financial advice, right? I bought that at a Solana store in New York, actually. All right. Robert Hedgegar, how many people are allowed to participate in the DevNet? I think, and Brad is here also, I think we said we wanted to limit it to something like 50 nodes or so. And yeah, I mean, let's see how much demand there is. There can be more, but honestly, yeah, I think about 50 nodes, that would be a great DevNet. I think Solana itself, they have fewer than 50 nodes on DevNet. We were thinking around 50. If it's like 10 or 12, that's fine for us also. If it's like 100 and we have high demand, that's great also, right? So, yeah. So I wouldn't send people away. I don't think we're going to have thousands of people that want to participate in the DevNet, but maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, when is the best time to ask about the DevNet? All right. So the DevNet doesn't have storage nodes yet, right? So that just make that clear. Someone's asking that here, John Spence. So the DevNet is just going to be 100% clone of Solana, right? So there's no new code in there yet, right? So with the DevNet, we're trying to get our community to run our Xandeum repo, and it starts with, just being a pure clone of the Solana code. We're rebranding it right now, so we hope by August 15th, it'll say Xandeum in all these places rather than Solana. And then the next step we're doing is to create that permissions layer, right? Because in the Xandeum blockchain, it's a permission blockchain, right? So we need to test, do you have a license to run it? And that's obviously super important in mainnet. It's not so important in DevNet, but that's something we want to develop early on and then test that in DevNet. And that also means with the current Solana blockchain, if you look at what happens at the beginning of every epoch, right? And then it pays off for us that we've been running our own Solana validator for so long now, right? An epoch is like about 2.5 days in Solana, and each and every start of the epoch, they do all the rewards calculation on the Solana chain. And that drags down the whole chain, right? So for like 15 minutes, it's hard to use the Solana chain, at the beginning of each and every epoch, every 2.5 days. And and that's really an issue with the Solana chain. So we're going to take out that code because our rewards are being calculated according to our light paper and not to Solana schedule at this point in time. So this will make the chain better to use. And then we code that permissions layer in there. And then we start coding what we have. We've already developed some stuff with our SDK. So we're going to be using that code. And then we're going to go to the move language. So implement that in there, and then implement the storage layer with all the code that's out there right now to build that storage layer, right? So it's not a full-fledged Xandeum DevNet that already has all the functionality, right? So there's still lots of stuff to develop there. Okay. Then. Yeah, Cornell asking when's the best time to ask about DevNet. Yeah, you can ask questions about it's called an Ask Me Anything, right? It doesn't even have to do with Xandeum or anything. You can ask me, so many things here. How much for a node? Well, if you go to Xandeum.com, there is a little thing there that says, currently the node store is on the Bitoku website, right? Bitoku was our previous brand name. So you see that here, right? Bitoku, there's still that early node owners NFT available. So, but with the Bitoku thing, and that the website is bitoku.io, bitoku.io, and there is the node store. And I think you can reach that from the Xandeum website also. There's a big button that says Get Nodes. You just click on Get Nodes, and then you go to the Bitoku node store, and then you see the current price of the node, right? So if I'm not mistaken, right now it's $2,500. But there's only 5 nodes still available at $2,500, right? Once we sell these 5, then the price goes up to $3,000, because every 7 nodes sold, the price is going up by $500, right? So right now, I don't expect to sell that we're selling too many nodes the next 7 days, because 7 days from now, there is going to be the launch, right? And with the launch, you have the opportunity to get up to 50% back. So I guess many of you, if they want to buy a node, might want to wait that 1 week, because at least if they come in early, number 1 or 2 or 3, right, after that launch time, you might get 50% back. Or if you're second, you still get 49% back. And if you're the third one, you still get 48% back, right? So if you want to try your luck there, wait that week. But if you're really serious and you want to get that node and you don't know which position you will be coming out, and it's a little bit of luck, as I've explained, right? You got to go at 11 o'clock Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be 20 hours, so 8 p.m. Central European time. You come there. If you're too early, your transaction won't go through, right? So maybe you have that effect. Oh, transaction doesn't go through. Then you have to click again, and that might take a second or two. And in the meantime, some other might have come. That was the first, right? So it is a little bit of luck. It is not the real world time. It is the Solana cluster time, which can be a little bit off in each direction, and it can fluctuate, right? It just depends on the network conditions on the Solana blockchain, and there is no way to predict it. So it has to do with luck, whether you're, the first one, the second one, and I don't know how many will try their luck. a week from now, right? It's maybe, you know, yeah, maybe it's less than 50 that even try, right? So you will have all the chances in the world, but maybe it's hundreds or thousands of people that want to try. I don't know, right? So if you really want that node, you can even do it before the launch, right? If you know, because right now there's only 5 left at $2,500, right? And if you do it before the launch, you will get this wonderful early node owners NFT that will give you, and you can keep it for the rest of the time, and it will give you lots of benefits, right? The benefits we're starting with is it doubles your voting power in the DAO, which is awesome. But with all the stuff that we have in the future, we will give our early node owners extra special benefits. You know, that's my promise here. We will not forget and never forget about our early node owners, right? And I know most of the guys watching right now are early node owners, right? But for the ones that don't have a node yet, if you get it before the launch, first of all, you're sure it's going to be 2,500, right? Because think about it. If you do it after the launch, there might be someone coming that drives up the price from 2,500 to 10,000 in no time. It might happen. I'm not sure, right? So there might be people out there that are bidding or pledging a lot of money, and they will drive up the price real fast because the price is now increasing every 7 nodes sold. So then even if you get 50%, but you might not end up getting 50% back. You might end up, you know, only getting, 20% back or so, right? So you might have to pay way, way more depending on your luck, right? At the launch. So if you really, really want to get in and you want to get that nice NFT here, I can recommend doing it right now before the launch because it's only 5 left at the price of 2,500, right? So, yeah. So, man, there's a lot going on here with questions, even though this is a surprise AMA, right? We didn't really announce it. We sent no email blast to our community or anything. I just published it in Discord like 5 minutes before it started. But man, so many people here. I'm surprised about that turnout, and you guys are the best. All right, so 50 validators. How many storage nodes? Oh, that was my answer, right? So at the launch of DevNet, August 15th, there will be no storage providers, right? So that's going to be the stuff that we're going to be developing over the coming months. Sunshine 365. Man, I love that username. Please, how much do I need to get a node? Yeah, I talked about that, right? So right now it's 2,500 USDC. You might be super lucky waiting a week, you know, then trying your luck at the launch. And if you're number 1, then you might get it for $1,250, right? You pay, but you'd have to pay the 2,500 first. And then we see in the blockchain, have you been number 1 or number 2 or whatever? If you were number 1, right, you get half back, 50% back. So $1,250, we will send back right into your wallet. And then you end up, you know, having paid effectively only $1,250. But it needs a lot of luck, right? First of all, you need the luck that, you know, for 1 week, nobody will buy more nodes, because if we sell, you know, more nodes right now before the launch, the price will still go up to $3,000. And also you need the luck to be number 1 or at least number 2 or 3 or stuff like that. So what should I say, right? If you're lucky, you can get it for $1,250, right, at the launch date. Right now, if you get one now, you get it for $2,500, and chances are, if you wait until next week, it could be way, way, way more expensive, right? And with all the launches that we had so far under the old brand name Bitoku, so this is the first one under the Xandeum brand, but under Bitoku, the 2 launches that we had, there was huge demand, right? And prices have been driven up crazy within a matter of seconds, right? So I have all reason to expect that it's going to be like that again in this launch. My memory may be fuzzy on that. Robert again, what is the process? Do you have to register for the DevNet beforehand? So Brad is the one that's managing the DevNet program. So I can recommend just pinging Brad on Discord, asking him about the procedure there. As far as I remember, he's collecting, guys' wallet addresses for the DevNet, the same way we did it for the beta test. By the way, thanks everyone for the beta test. That was a big success. I've never thought there's so many guys wanting to do the beta test of the new node store that's going to be launching 1 week from now, the Xandeum node store. But yeah, I saw Brad in the call here. Maybe you can chime in, Brad, on the question on the chat here, on the YouTube chat, how this works with the DevNet thing. Oh, there he is. We haven't officially started gathering interested ones for DevNet. It'll be coming soon, right? Yeah. So just get in touch with Brad on Discord. We haven't officially started. So right now, all our resources are focused on the launch. 1 week is left. The press release is coming out on Tuesday, and we want to optimize our website for everyone that's coming through the press release so that they're really guided to what the launch is all about, how it all works, where they can buy their nodes and stuff like that, right? So it's going to be a lot of work for us. It's also going to be a lot of work to get everything done on the corporate side, because I mentioned the Xandeum Foundation and some other things that need to be all in place when we do the launch next week. So lots of stuff to do, and then right after the launch, we figure out the DevNet stuff. It's going to be another 2 weeks then, right after the launch. Okay. Eno for life, yeah, absolutely. You'll keep that NFT for life. Nobody can take it away. And, it's going to be part of each and every step we take in the future, right? There's going to be so many opportunities when we launch the testnet and we do some more DAO stuff, and you might be able to stake not only the Xan tokens, but you might be able to stake that NFT for some extra rewards and stuff like that, right? And I really love that stuff. I see it in other projects. I've been following Orca a lot. So the Orca, a DeFi platform, very popular DeFi platform on Solana, they do a lot with these NFTs, and I think it's a great way to engage with the community. And this is not a short-lived gimmick, right? It's something you keep for life, and you'll have it in your wallet all the time, and you can always prove, hey, I was an early Xandeum/Bitoku node owner, right? And it's going to be an exclusive club, right? So, man, I can't keep up with all your questions here. 5 nodes left at 2,500. Yeah, thanks, Brad. Oh, shoot, price going up again. Wow. Yep. Lots of demand. Yeah, and really, honestly, and I love that. For DevNet, how do we register to run the node from August, and what else do we need beside the steps added in the website? Again, so that is all the details. We will communicate them after the launch, right? So we're just focused on the launch this week, and then next week, Brad will be managing that. So reach out to him, and he will collect wallet addresses and support you guys in setting up that validator. And we already have at least one that I know of from the community that's already running a DevNet node without the extra rewards that we're offering there. So that's awesome. And that also shows that, yeah, we just have a great community. I'm repeating myself here, and yeah, our DevNet is up now. I think with 5 nodes, right? 4 from ourselves and the team, and a 5th one from a community member, right? So that's great. Cornell, same question as Andre. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Eno for life. John, on the Xandeum Discord channel, Ian said the ICO might be as much as 10 cents per Zand. Can you tell us a bit about the tokenomics that lands Zand there? As much as you realistically can before November. Yeah, so I mean the tokenomics are public, right? So and I had a video about market cap. If you haven't watched it, I can recommend that one. So just go to my channel page on YouTube and then scroll through all the videos that I have uploaded there, and one is about market capitalization. And the market cap is what counts here, right? So, and then if you think about November, right, that's going to be like what, 450 days or so after after our genesis, right, which was about a year ago. Maybe 500 days, right? I don't know. So with 500 days, 1 million Oku /Zand will have been generated each and every day, right? So there will be 500 million Zand of max supply at the time of the ICO. But half of that is owned by labs. It's not free float. It's not being, part of that liquidity pool in any way. So that goes out of that, right? So it's only going to be 250 million, right? And then there are some guys that, haven't touched their wallets in a long time and stuff like that, right? And there will be a lot, and we have a whale or two here that will have some special rules to, not participate, have their tokens locked up and stuff like that, right? So it might be like, out of the 250 million, let's say it's 150 million Zand tokens that count for the market cap. And I think projects like us, when you see them listed and they do it all professionally and, hire market makers and get the right marketing and list them on the right exchanges, right? So I don't want to do kind of these small or just DEX offerings at first. We need to create some serious buzz here. And that means we reach out to the likes of Binance and KuCoin and maybe even Coinbase to list our token there, right? And that should give us, at least a market cap as of today's thing, right? Of like 30 million, 50 million, something like that, right? So if you do the math then with the number of tokens that we have out there, I think it's a quite realistic goal to come out at 10 cents per Zand. And of course, I'm doing all this here because I feel the long-term opportunity here is way more than that, right? So I wouldn't be surprised in like 3, 4, 5 years from now to see it at several dollars or even tens of dollars, right? So, all right. Hope that answers your question, John. But I'll say it again. This is all not financial advice. It's not an official company statement. And with the nodes that we're selling here, they're primarily to be part of this movement from early on, and they are primarily to be part of this blockchain, run your validator, support this movement of decentralization, and kind of as a side effect, you earn these rewards when you later validate the transactions. And even before you do that, you are doing stuff, right? You guys are watching these videos. You guys are active on Discord. You guys are actively voting on the DAO. And for all this, we just want to give back, and we give you these Zand rewards each and every day without actually having to run the validator yet, right? But we assume you will do it later on. So, and that as a side effect, it can pay off, or it might not. You never know. It's all the risk. Obviously, is that we as a blockchain and as a company are successful, and we succeed in developing that validator software that you're buying a license for, and succeed in everything else that we've been doing, and do your own research there, and just watch what's going on here. And I think we've been super transparent and doing at least 3 videos a week where I keep you updated about everything and the progress here. Yeah. Okay, Blaze the Gecko. How do we exchange our Oku tokens for Zand in the new node store at launch? So that's a great question. Thanks, Blaze. So the way it works is, if you're having a node before the launch, right? That's all Bitoku branded, and the rewards you've been earning for that is called the Oku token. And then at the launch, you come back to the new node store. The new node store is Xandeum branded, right? So it's on the Xandeum website, it's a Xandeum branded node store. And I gave you a quick peek in the last video that went live yesterday, right? So you've already seen how the new node store works. And in the new node store, we know your nodes that you've bought in the Bitoku world, and we know when you bought them, and we know everything, right? So then when you come to the new Xandeum node store, you will start at 0 Zand, and you just click harvest, and we will harvest all your Zand retroactively from the date that you bought your first node, even if that was in the old Bitoku world, right? So you will just collect it. We called it collect in the Bitoku store, but it's going to be called harvest now in the new store. So you will be harvesting from day one, right? Even from before the Xandeum launch, and you will harvest it all in Zand, right? So you will get all the Zand tokens, but we don't care about your Oku tokens anymore. We just forget about them, right? They are still in your wallet, and we will change the logo of the Oku token, so they will appear with a different logo in your wallet then, like a grayed out or something like that. And the Oku token will not be used in the Xandeum blockchain anymore. So you cannot, the utility of the Oku token was to store stuff on the blockchain, to pay for storage, to pay for validating transactions and stuff like that. And this utility for the Oku token will just be discontinued by us. So there will be no utility anymore, and the utility will all be in the new Zand token. So that's why you'll be able to collect or harvest all your Zand tokens in the new node store. But we don't care how many Okus you have. It's not like you have to bring your Oku tokens for us to give you Zand, right? All we need to give you the right amount of Zand is we need to know when did you buy your nodes, right? And we have that information on the blockchain. It's publicly available there. Obviously, the whole Solana blockchain is a public blockchain. So we have all that information, and we will give you the correct amount of Zands. And so if everything goes right, you will see exactly the same amount of Zand in your wallet then as you previously had in Oku. But there were some bugs there. There were bugs in both directions. Some people had too little Oku. Some people had too much Oku. Some people had way too much Oku. And we fixed all these bugs, and it took us a few months to do so, right? And that's the reason, one of the reasons we're doing this relaunch, for everyone to have exactly the correct amount and make it bug-free. And we invested so much time, including the beta tests that you guys did. But we did lots of tests here on our end. We created completely new environments that were copies of the old Bitoku environment with every wallet that had the purchased the node at that specific time, and we've tested it through like crazy, and we thought like this has to be working, right? If there's bugs in the rewards calculation, we just cannot move ahead, right? And that has held us back for a few months now, right? So but now we're back to full speed, right? The last 1 or 2 months have been crazy, and there's so much stuff going on, and everyone's excited, and I'm excited, and the team is excited, and the community is excited, and you know, we're moving ahead so fast. And yeah, I just love that. Okay, hope that answers your question, Blaze. Okay, techie Brad here telling us he's creating a separate channel on Discord for the DevNet, and I'm so glad to hear here that there's so much interest in running those DevNet nodes. That makes me super excited. Okay. Blaze, for your info, Brad has been awesome helping me with my Solana validators. Thanks, Brad. Yeah, I mean, Brad is just awesome, right? So that was one of the serendipities here with reaching out to my Ansel community, my previous company, private cloud company, right? And the very first private launch was just reaching out to my Ansel customers, and Brad was one of them. And, you know, so he was Ansel customer, Bitoku customer, node owner, and then he turned team member, and that's just awesome, and I can't wait. So I don't know where he is right now, probably at the airport already, because he's going to be arrived tonight here in Vegas, and we're going to be working together here in Vegas next week. So can't wait for that. Okay. Yeah, 30 to 50 M, you know, that is, John, that's just, again, right? It's not a promise that we're going to have that market capitalization of 30 to 50 million dollars. It's just when I look into other projects, I see this thing, and that's my goal where I want to be, but it might or might not happen, and it might be less, it might be more. I don't know, right? But I just wanted to share here, you know, what is our goal when we list the token. From which amount of Zand is the lockup period relevant? Or is it for every ENO? Michael, that's also a very good question. So we're in talks with our lawyers and several other service providers who do all that. And then the moment of truth will come when we talk to the exchanges that we're going to be listing it on, right? So if we go to Binance, for example, and say, okay, we want to have the Zand token listed there, then Binance will make the rules, right? Binance is a big name, and that's just an example, right? I don't know if we're going to be listed on Binance and or other exchanges, just to give you an example here, right? But if they say, hey, you can only list your token on our Binance exchange if blah, 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 and lockups will be part of that. And what they exactly require, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be every early node owner. Normally it's just the team, but I think, you know, we have a few whales, as we know. They might require that, but I'm not sure, right? But independent of that, right, it is super important for us, and that's why I wanted to push back the moment of listing the token as much as I could, but at some point we just have to do it, right? We just have to be real, and we want the Zand token to be visible on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap and all these type of things, right? So I'm super excited for that November event, but we need to prevent that, you know, everyone wants to cash out at that moment, right? Because we're not done yet. We haven't conquered the world yet. We haven't, you know, we won't have like hundreds of startups, Web3 startups building apps on Xandeum, let alone those apps being really live and some of them becoming killer apps. And I believe, with that technology that offers not only decentralized code, but also decentralized storage for that code, right? There can be killer apps in real life, right, that bring billions of people onto crypto just in order to run that app. And we need that storage layer for that, to have that killer app. So our moment of truth, when we're really out there and everyone's using it, that is so far out, right? And what we don't want to have is have a sell-off before that, right? And I've watched Tesla a little bit, and I bought some Tesla stock in late 2018. I bought my first Tesla in 2018, right? And with their history, and there's guys out there that believed in Tesla from 2012 on or stuff like that. I was not among them, right? But I didn't lose much on the actual stock price because it was hovering like from 2012 to 2018 and nothing much was happening, even though they made progress like crazy, right? But there was a moment of truth at the end of 2018 when the Model 3 actually came out, and the Model 3 was something that was like affordable for many, many people and for the masses, not like the Model S and X that were out there before. So there was that moment of truth, and it took them, even from the listing until the moment of truth, it was like 6 years, right? And there was another 4 to 6 years before that, before their stock got listed, right? So this is all a long-term journey. And it's not like, we need to make sure there's not a sell-off for everyone that says, oh, I bought this and that for my nodes, I want my money back and sell my Xand. And how we reach that goal, I don't know. Lockups will definitely be one of that. There will also be voluntary lockups through the DAO, right? So I announced that already. So you can just lock your tokens voluntarily and get higher voting power in the DAO for that, right? So that's another great way to handle it. And then obviously we will have, on the marketing side. And by the way, the job posting for the marketing position is out there. So if you go to Xandeum.com, you see a job posting there. It should also be on ZipRecruiter, on Indeed, and stuff like that. So with all our marketing, we will constantly have things where you can do something with your Xand, right? Right now we have the DAO, so you can deposit it in the DAO and you can cast your votes, right? But we will have, marketing things, out there where you can just stake this thing or put your Xand into something and then get an NFT for that and be able to stake the NFT and, a little bit of gamify that whole thing so that you always have something to do with your Xand. And there's obviously the Xandeum Preferred Club that's mentioned in the light paper. Thanks for so many people asking for that. So we're definitely making progress on that and bringing it out really short after the launch. So far about lockups. So no real details. The moment of truth for the lockups and everything will come when we actually talk to the exchanges where we want that token to be listed. And there's going to be voluntary lockups also, and we will see how it all works out, right? But I think with everyone watching this here now being really early, we're all in the same boat, right? We want this to be a real success, and everyone's using it and have these killer Web3 apps built on Xandeum and all these type of things, right? And we need to make sure we arrive there, right? If we have a real sell-off in the meantime, it'll always happen, right? I mean, the token price will go up and down, right? But I know some other projects where there are real sell-offs and the market price, the market cap goes down to, and I have a befriended or a friend that I know, right, that's running a a crypto company in Dubai, and his market cap collapsed to $81,000, right? And we'd have to prevent that, right? That's bad for all of us. So we have to, all work for the same end to keep demand up for the token and to limit the selling pressure, right? So and I hope we'll all get that done together, and we're going to be hiring market makers that help us doing that also. That's a key ingredient of this whole thing. If we have no market maker and would just list it all in a DEX or stuff like that, it's going to be a disaster. So this is a big project all in its own, getting it listed on the exchanges. And, I will keep you up to date with, everything that's that we're considering there, right? But lots of details still in the works, and we cannot determine all the details on our own, right? There's other players there, like the lawyers, like the DAO, that might have its own ideas, and especially the exchanges that we want them. We want these exchanges to list our tokens, because that helps in marketing, right? If it's listed on Coinbase or on Binance, it's going to be a big marketing effect, right? And by the way, what we're also going to do before the token listing is selling so-called SAFTs, SAFT. It's called a simple agreement for future tokens. So if there are people out there that want to get some tokens before they are listed, right, and want to put in some, I would say there's some $10,000, $50,000 or so minimum that you would need for the SAFT. I don't know exactly what the minimum's gonna be, but then we could say, like, okay, for $50,000 you get like this % discount over the future listing price, right? And if it's like 500,000, there's a greater discount for the future listing price. So that's what's coming on the roadmap. All right. Nice project. Thanks. Nice name again. Sunshine 365. I love that, man. I feel like I have this in Vegas here. Sunshine 365 days a year. John Spence. It certainly is a great project, very grassroots, and has a great following. Absolutely true, John, and you're an important part of it. I appreciate you and everyone here really much. Techie, happy to be of service, glad to be here. Yeah. Is the total amount of Zand fixed as Oku was? Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. And as you can see, the Xandeum light paper is an exact copy of the Bitoku light paper. We just swapped Bitoku with Xandeum. And yeah, the max supply ever is still completely capped at those 4.015 Zand. So there's a hard cap, and I feel that's the right way to do it. Yeah. And I think it's important. I think it's important to know there will never be more tokens than this amount, right? Like, it was the original idea of Bitcoin, and, some of these projects just strayed from there and made like a fuzzy max supply and stuff like that. I don't like that, right? I just want to have that capped max supply. Dinesh, I want to join your platform. Awesome. Yeah, just go to Xandeum.com. There's the get nodes. And I don't know if you've watched this video from the beginning, Dinesh. If not, after it's over here, you'll see it on YouTube as a recording. And there's a few things to think about, whether you want to get your node now or whether you want to wait until the launch. It's just your decision. But I talked about it a lot in the beginning of this video. But otherwise, we would all love to see you on board. Yeah. So, then Sandeep, hello. I am enjoying this platform. Please guide me. Yeah, so all the guidance is on our website, Xandeum.com. There is a section that says how to participate. And there is also the link that says get nodes. And if you have questions there, just reach out on our Discord, right? So hopefully you've joined our Discord already. If not, just go to Xandeum.com. And on the top right of the website, there is that little arrow that says join Discord. So you can join our Discord and then ask your questions there. And we're happy to guide you through each and every step, or you can send us screenshots when you get stuck anywhere, or stuff like that. So happy to do that. Alan Morris, sorry, got cut off. Maybe this was answered. Can we stake the coins? Great question. No, it wasn't talked about yet in this call. Yeah, absolutely. You can stake your Xan tokens, but we don't have details about that yet, right? It's just on our roadmap that we want to do that, stake the tokens, but also stake some NFTs and things like that. But details are to be determined, right? How many amount are investment this platform? So Sandeep, I recommend. So first of all, what we've raised so far, right? We sold nodes worth of $1.9 million so far, right? So that's great, and we've done 2 launches, right? Right now, in order to join, the minimum would be 2,500, but it could also be 1,250 if you're lucky. And I explained that in the very beginning of this video. So just watch the replay there, because I'm explaining it all in the beginning. I just don't want to repeat it here, the same stuff again. All right. Michael, am I in the bottom of this thing here? Man, it doesn't scroll here somehow. This chat window. Anyway, so Michael, this information will come in Discord soon too, Brad. We will keep you updated on what plans at these providers will work for DevNet. Yeah, so the hosting providers and stuff for DevNet, that will all be out there on Discord and on that specific channel. All right. Alan again, will you burn any tokens along the way? Yes. So the thing is that, right, when you read our light paper, you see that we have this scheme of 1 million tokens per day, and that works nicely while the mainnet is not up yet, right? But once the mainnet starts, the Xand rewards will start being based on validating transactions or even storing data on the storage providers. But we still want to keep the promise of the light paper, not generating more than 1 million tokens per day. So in order to do that, we need to burn tokens that we give as rewards for validating transactions, right? So there will be some scheme where people pay a certain transaction fee that are using the blockchain, and part of that will go to the validators as a reward for their tokens, and the other part will be burned in a way that, we stay in this promised land of, only 1 million tokens per day, so that we can keep our capped max supply promise, right? So we'll have to burn tokens to keep that promise and to always stay within that or below that max supply ever within 10 years, right? And also within that token generation limit that we have per day, right? And Part of how we do that is if there's any incentives, for example, for the incentivized DevNet, we will pay that out of the lab's treasury, right? So we as Xandeum Labs, we're getting 500,000 of these 1 million tokens a day, right? And that goes into our treasury, and we use that treasury to do incentives. For example, incentivize the DevNet, right? But then when the real rewards from running on mainnet then add up to that, we will burn some tokens with each and every transaction in order to keep the tokenomics as they are set out in the light paper. I hope that makes sense for everyone. Then Blaze again, is your priority still interacting with Solana since you opted to run a separate chain? So that's a great question. So we have our technical white paper out. It just came out a few days ago. Don't know if you guys saw it. So when you go to Xandeum.com, it's in the very top. There's that orange bar in the top that says, here's our technical white paper. And we have started circulating that a little bit, and also circulating it with our friends that are on Solana, some real like Solana VIPs, and we've been getting some feedback there as well. So what is the question exactly? Is your priority still interacting with Solana? Yeah, of course, we want to stay in touch with all the Solana community, and I will be going to Amsterdam in November for the conference there, the Breakpoint conference. We do that, but there's also a little bit of a fork is a fork, right? It's even visual, right? It's a parting of ways somehow when we go a different fork. And I just feel like, the chain itself has so much of a different focus, right? The Solana chain is what Anatoly calls a global state machine, right? And he developed it for DeFi. He doesn't need that much storage of that sort of DeFi trading that he envisioned it for, right? Then his DeFi temporarily collapsed a little bit, but then came NFTs. And Solana is also a great fit for NFTs, right? And to make it even better for NFTs, they invested a lot. And Anatoly, a co-author, and Anatoly, the founder of Solana, that's the guy I'm talking about. And he co-authored another white paper for what they call NFT compression, in order to work around having to store the NFT data, like the pictures and stuff, somewhere on chain, right? So, and for him, and for Solana, the moment of truth is they want to get to billions of users of adoption as well, right? But they chose their path, right? Their chain doesn't have that storage layer. And it's just, they are 500% busy with getting their state machine through, right? And thinking about NFTs and maybe thinking about DeFi, but they are not thinking about storage. It's just something that doesn't fit into their list of priorities, right? And we have to be aware of that. And if we were just an appendix to Solana, it would be tough, right? I don't see Anatoly or anyone tweeting about storage, and there's that shadow drive out there, like a Solana-based storage solution. He never got much support from the Solana community, right? Because Solana is about that state machine and fast transactions and stuff like that, and we are building on that. We're happy Solana is there. We're happy we're forking Solana and not some other chain, and I think they are happy also, right? It would be worse if we took some other chain as the basis. And through the speed and performance of Solana, we can get our adoption of billions of users, right? Because we need that performance in order to get this broad adoption in the end. But we have that other focus, and we need to maximize the probability that we can get lots of developers onboarded in the future, right? Find so many Web3 startups that want to build a real Web3 app, what we call a SET app, right? The storage-enabled decentralized apps. Those need to get onboarded and need to build on Xandeum, right? If it's like they first have to go to Solana, then they hear all the Solana marketing messages, which is nothing about storage, right? And then they are on Solana, and then we need to convince them that they use our storage thing, right? And then it has to be an SDK if it's on Solana, and we started that way, right? And but that is then another step that we have to take our developers through to then actually build on our technology, right? And that is like too indirect. There is so much friction in there, right? So if we do our own chain, right, building on Solana, building on some other tech that's out there, and then if we do the move language, and specifically the move language because it already has a syntax for storage, right? For global storage. So that move language makes it so super attractive for any developer that wants to build a storage-enabled a D app, right? A SET app. Makes it so attractive because it's so natural for them, right? To have some stuff in the Solana existing Solana account system, right? That will live on. That is fast, cheap storage for stuff that's like kilobytes, right? But then there will be, that's kind of a cache or something. We see it like that, right? But then we need terabytes, petabytes, exabytes of data to do the real web grade stuff, right? And that needs to be scalable. And that's just not a priority of Solana's, right? Because they still need to work on getting their stuff that they have already developed. They need to get that mass adopted, right? And it would be a distraction for them, right? And that's what we are building. And we are 100% focused on building these SET apps because I believe that is the way to get billions of users, right? To really see that, we can do everything we can do for Web 2, but we can rid ourselves from these centralized Web 2 apps that don't always act friendly towards us, right? And that's why we made that decision to do our own chain. That is not an appendix to or some one of 500 things built on top of Solana, right? And future will tell if that is the right decision, and it has some short-term drawbacks, but I think long-term it's the only path that leads to where we want to go, right? Having these massive effects on billions of users. Yeah, so hope that answers your question. Michael, will the press release come out in German language too somehow? Yeah, I mentioned that in the beginning. So the PR agency that we're using is called Chainwire. So they seem to be kind of the leader there in press releases. And they offer an additional package, offer additional language packages, right? So I could have bought Korean as well and Chinese and whatever. The only one I picked is the German one, just because we have quite a large German following, right? And it all started out with that crypto club. That's not even located in Germany. I think the founders are from the UK and from Sweden or so. But for some reason, that crypto club that we're working with, they have so many members in Germany, and Germans are known for being very club focused, right? So they have clubs for everything. So, and yeah, it's going to come out in German language, and it's going to come out on Cointelegraph.de as well, right? So there's a German Cointelegraph, and it's going to show up there also on Tuesday evening, German time. All right. Good. I think we're through. Man, it's been an hour, over an hour now for a surprise AMA. So I love that. So we haven't announced it much ahead, and there was nothing on Twitter, nothing on LinkedIn, anything. Just my little Discord message 5 minutes before it began. Right. So thank you all, guys. You're an amazing community. I think the launch offer is understood. I love these things, these races where everything's about that specific time. And I also explained to you guys that if you really want to get in, it might be a good idea to do it before the launch, because then at least you can get in for $2,500. If it's still like that, I don't know. I was talking for an hour. Maybe some people bought nodes in the meantime, right? But then you have it for sure. You can try your luck at the launch, but chances getting it cheaper than $2,500 at the launch, I don't know how much their chances are, right? It maybe 50%, maybe. I really don't know. It all depends on how many folks really show up at the launch. And also, there might be people that are putting in a lot of money at the launch, right? So if they do that, then, and you come after them, right? And that has happened with the other two launches also, right? At some point, a few seconds after the launch, someone comes in and puts in hundreds of thousands of dollars, puts in maybe millions of dollars, right? And then boom, the price is way up there, right? So in the first private launch, it went up from $100 to $700 in a matter of 12 seconds, right? In the second launch last November, all under the Bitoku flag, right? The price went up from $200 also to, I don't really remember, was it $1,100 or something in 7 seconds, right? So with the launch, it's all, you get it on the cheap when you're fast, right? So, and that's the thing. So it's next Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, and that's like 2 p.m. Eastern, right? And and it's 8 p.m. Central European Standard Time, Central European Summer Time, CEST. So that's how it goes. Thanks everyone, and talk to you guys later. And excited to see how things will be going that 1 week that we have left. And obviously anyone who wants to participate, it's important to be there at that specific point in time 1 week from now. And it's also important, if you want to buy nodes, have your wallets funded. You need USDC, and you need the Solana variant of USDC. It's called SPL USDC. And if you need to buy that at an exchange or something, it might take a few days, right? So I don't want you to, I want to get in at the launch and I want to have a chance to get them at a way lower price than it's going to cost later on, but then having to miss out because you don't have the funds in your wallet, right? And these exchanges, they often put holes on the funds. So here in the US, it's like you pay it with a bank account and you have like a week or 2 week or 3 weeks hold on that. We don't want to do that, right? Because you need to be there early at the launch. So that's the reason, if you can make your payment with credit card or so, it clears way faster, right? And oftentimes it's only like, a day or 2 or 3. So, but it's going to cost some fees. But if you want to get in at the launch, I can recommend, if you're not fast enough or so, just use a credit card for payment with the exchange where you buy your USDC or anything. To get it out faster, because if you want to have that chance to get up to 50% back or 49% or 48%, you have to be there at that point in time. So you need to be prepped, right? So get prepared, because otherwise you're missing out on the launch offer. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for listening and for engaging. It was so much fun, man. It was like one video each and every day now, the past few days. And glad you like it all. Glad you watched these videos so much. And talk to you guys soon and see you at the launch. And the plan right now is 1 week from now at 11 a.m. I want to be live on YouTube, and we're just going to be experiencing that event, that actual launch event live, and we'll just be broadcasting it, right? And honestly, we don't know. I have no idea whether it will be a great success and we will see lots of things flowing into our wallet, or maybe it's like, everyone has already bought their nodes at the earlier launch events and there will be nobody there. I have no idea, but either way, you will see it live 1 week from now. So thanks, guys, for watching, and talk to you soon. Catch you later. Bye.